Hi there. Okay, so we're going to be continuing with this process of creating this fresh Chifo tortellini with a butter and sage sauce. Now we are ready to roll out a dough, cut a dough, and shape them, and fill them and shape them into tortellini. Okay, so here's a dough that's rested. Okay, nice and soft, smooth. Okay, now we have to run it a few times through this pasta machine, and to make sure that the dough runs through nice and smooth, we're going to be careful not to try to push too much dough through at once, okay? Because it can have a tendency to get stuck on the rollers. So we're going to cut our pasta dough into sizes, oh, I would say about the size of perhaps like a small lemon, okay? You're going to see that a little bit of dough really can make a whole bunch of product. Okay, and again, as always, dough that's not being used, we keep covered so it doesn't dry out. Okay, we're gonna flatten this piece a bit. Right now it has a nice texture, nice feel of soft leather. All right, so lightly flour the surface of the dough, and conversely, for these rollers, I'm going to lightly flour them as well. A word about this machine: when you clean it, do not let it go near water. Okay, water can permeate in between the rollers, causing the ball bearings that are in them to rust, and that could really eventually destroy the machine. So we take a dry towel, brush off the flour, or just a pastry brush will do as well. So, okay, so the rollers are at its widest setting. Okay, and when you work this, kind of roll it pretty briskly. The quicker you roll it through, less chance it's going to have to stick. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to shape the dough. We want the dough sheets to be nice and oblong. So how we do that, we go ahead, we take one edge, fold it to the middle. The other edge, we fold that over. So now you have sort of like an envelope. Okay, press it on down, lightly flour. Same thing for the rollers. Open end of the envelope go through first. Okay. I'm gonna do that, I think, one more time, just for good measure. To the middle, over, flatten, touch of flour, open end through first. Okay, so, okay, that's ready to go. I just want to adjust the machine a little bit, make sure it gets nice and tight. There we go. Okay, excellent. Okay, so next thing we're going to do, I'm going to roll this through one more time when it's still now at the widest setting. And then we are going to reset the rollers to the next more narrow setting. Okay, I suppose that's setting number 2 on this particular machine. So now we're going to start a series of aggressive rolling, okay, thinner and thinner and thinner. And each time I roll it to a newly adjusted setting, I make sure I roll it through twice. Okay. Okay, next, a little more thin. Same as, almost like a ritual. Flatten, flour, roll. Okay, try not to add too much flour, because then sometimes the surface is so dry it doesn't really adhere to the rollers, and it's hard to let it go through. The other thing to keep in mind, you don't want to pull or tug at the dough, okay? Just let it go forward. All right, okay, we're getting there. Okay, I'm beginning to see my fingers through the dough. So we are approaching the desired thinness. And let's see. Okay, I can see my fingers right through the dough. Okay, and I think at this point, that's where I'm going to leave it. I would say it's about an eighth of an inch, in terms of thickness. And again, doing this from a production standpoint, okay, typically we roll out at least a half a bunch of dough into sheets, and once that's done, we lay them on a pan lined with parchment paper or wax paper or butcher paper, and then make sure the surface of the pan is either floured or coated with cornmeal or semolina. Lay it out flat. You could slightly shingle each layer, a little more flour or cornmeal on top, another sheet of paper on top of that. This way they won't get dried out, and you can make a few of these sheets ahead of time. So now the next objective is to take our cutter. This is about a 3-inch cutter. I'm going to flour the cutting edge of the cutter. Okay, give it a push and twist. Okay, so we have nice little scalloped round dough circles. Now, you might notice that yes, there is a bit of scrap left. Scrap could be reused as long as you combine a certain amount of scrap, like kind of 50-50 scrap and fresh dough, and you can combine it together. A lot of times we might take recycled scraps and roll it out and use it to make lasagna. A lot of times what we'll do, if we want to make like a soup that has some sort of noodles in it, we'll just cut these into pieces uneven and add it to finish up, let's say, a minestrone. And the Italians call doing this malfatti. Malfatti means misshapen. Okay, I'm going to just keep that with the rest of the dough. So now what we'll do with the two samples I have, and again, I have to take off the gloves, okay, this fine motor operation of filling and shaping the ravioli. I just need to feel what I'm doing. Okay, so speaking of which, what we're going to do is go on ahead. Now, normally, what I would do is use a Petri bag to portion out the amount of cheese into, whether it's tortellini, whether it's ravioli. Unfortunately, I don't have one with me, so I'm going to kind of do a home-style way of butter knife and spoon. Okay, now, okay, just to show you, okay, you don't want more than this amount. Maybe that's like a scant teaspoon of filling. Next, what we do, I'm going to take my finger. I could use a brush, as well. I'm using cold water. Some people like to use egg wash. And I'm going to just apply it to the 1/2 of the outer edge of the ravioli. Then what we're going to do, we're going to take this and we're going to just fold over the dough, over the filling, and make a half moon shape. Let me show you a little more closer. And then what we do, we just pinch the edges real well. We really want to seal this nicely, okay? Next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the tortellini to be, and each end of my half moon, I'm going to put a little bit of water. Then I'm going to take my thumb, and the pouch where the filling is, I'm going to push up push up just like that. And then I'm going to take my pointer, really get my pointer nice and floured, and just put my pointer right in that little depression right over there. And then I'm going to take one end over the other, press it, seal it, like so, and just let it slip out. And that is your tortellini. Okay, why don't we do that one more time? Okay, so again, okay, a little dab will do you to seal our dough. Then we fold it over to make that half moon shape. Press it real well. If your finger's a little sweaty or wet, just dip it in a little bit of flour. Okay, just like so. Take your thumb. Oh, before we do that, a little dab of water at either edge of the pasta. Now take your thumb. Push that pouch of filling up like so. And then replace your thumb with your finger, your pointer that is, nicely floured. One end goes over, other end goes over, press to seal, nice and securely, okay? And then that guy gets slipped off. And what you could do, this little flap over here, okay, you could just sort of curl it over for a nice little effect like that. And that's it.